Welcome to Adventures in Surgical Weight Loss with Dr. R. I'm Dr. Richard Rasmussen. I'm a bariatric surgeon and excited to bring you another story from a surgical weight loss patient. My goal is to give patients a place where they can share their amazing stories. I get to hear these stories all the time. I hope through this process to get rid of some of the bad information that exists about surgical weight loss. Today I had the opportunity to visit with Shirley Watkins. She's 2 years out from a gastric bypass, also did some work on her own losing weight and has had tremendous results. I think you'll really enjoy getting to know her. Well, why don't you just go ahead and tell us your story?
All right. These are just some of the things that I tried for and failed with weight loss before. They worked temporarily, but eventually I gained all the weight back, right? And then some. I've tried Weight Watchers, acupressure, fen, not eating, fasting, the Atkins, Mediterranean, Slim Fast, you name it, I tried it. My top weight this recently, going back through medical records, was 345. When I started working on seeking out gastric bypass, I was at 310. When I went in for surgery, I was at 228. So I was able to lose some of the weight before having surgery.
What did you do to do that?
I started eating the way that you're supposed to eat after surgery.
That's a great change, yeah.
Yes, because I knew that if I didn't start, then it would just be hard for me.
So that was 80 pounds from the 310, but from your 340, I mean, that was 120 pounds. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh my goodness. And then all the medication for pre-diabetes and stuff like that, that kind of helps you with, stuff like that. But yeah, but I knew that if I didn't get gastric bypass, I would never keep the weight off.
Because of your previous experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing worked until I met you. So yeah.
Okay. Then what, you had been working on it. You changed how you were eating. You were planning to do this. What actually led you to make the decision?
Well, my breaking point, so to speak.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
All right. Well, in 2006, I was in a car accident with one of my friends, and I was paralyzed from the waist down for 30 minutes. And so I ended up prior to that just being in a wheelchair because of health conditions and stuff. And I had to wear oxygen 24/7. And basically, so I've lived in a wheelchair for 15 plus years, and I couldn't walk or do anything. And so with that, it just, made life really hard. And then also during COVID, our daughter was diagnosed with cancer, and I couldn't walk on my own two legs to go into the hospital to help her through testing and eventually help her through her egg retrieval surgery. And so that for me was these two events led me out to seek gastric bypass. That was it for me. I knew that it was just, yeah.
Wow. 15 years in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
So you decided on gastric bypass. How about the process leading up to surgery? Anything memorable about that?
Oh my goodness. So, well, everything I had to go through with insurance, get it approved or whatever, right? That I ended up having to get SI fusion before I could get into the gastric bypass. But yeah, so I had both sides done with the SI fusion, and that led me to walking. And then I'm like, okay. And I went to my primary care physician. I just was okay. I can't do it anymore. And it's that was just, it. But yeah, just preparing for it was just going through with my health advocate through my insurance. She helped me so much. And she's just like, you got to get all these things ready. You got to get your silverware. You got to get your plate so that you can learn how your portion size. And yeah, so I just bought everything and started preparing for it.
Oh, that's great. So take us up to day of surgery. Now you reminded me before we started recording that you had surgery on Halloween a couple of years ago.
I did. I
Was
thought that was a great day.
great day to get rid of the demons, right?
That's right. Yes.
Um, Anything come to mind through the process of surgery or the hospital stay?
Um, all I just remembered like just drinking the little tiny bits amount like every 15 minutes. I was like, oh my goodness. And so I just had to be like setting my timer. And I was like, how am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? But I did. I got up and I walked around the unit after surgery really quickly. The nurses are like, wow. I was like, I'm still good.
Oh, that's
But
great.
yeah, just
That's
preparing
great.
myself.
And then in the post-operative period, as you started losing weight, anything memorable about that period for you?
Um, oh my goodness. Like, non-skill victories, would that be like something
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
that's a great thing to touch
um
on.
the energy to move and be able to walk 5 miles a day was a huge non-skill victory. Recently I pulled out my old winter coat. I put it on, it drowned me, and I felt very tiny in it. And it was like if it made me giggle and it put a smile on my face, and I was like, sweet. It felt so good to be able to like put it on and just like feel like this little tiny little person inside of it. And not being in a wheelchair anymore, being able to walk, not having to use my oxygen all the time. I just learned that I can do hard things, and without your help, I wouldn't be here right now.
Oh, that's fantastic. You mentioned that coat drowning you. You told us the weight where you started at. What's your current weight?
At 143.
Okay, 143. So basically 200 pounds from your highest.
Yeah.
Wow, you lost more than yourself.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's
It is.
amazing.
I still have a pair of my pants that I wore when I was at that size, and I set my both of my legs in it, and I pull them up, and it was like sweet. I could fit in one pant leg.
That's amazing.
It's fun.
Um, was there any point for you where you felt like, oh my goodness, what did I do?
Yes. Okay, so right after surgery, probably like within a week after I had surgery, it put my body into an autoimmune response. So I went 4 months not being able to walk, and I ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks at Christmas. And I had a gout flare. My body was so angry with me that I did the surgery. But I was like, I just kept sticking to my diet, and I kept just, trying to make it work. And finally, it like responded, and it's like, okay, you're going to change this. We're going to work together, and we're going to make it work. So, yeah.
How
And
long was how long was that time period from kind of when those started until you felt like you really came out of it?
it was like 4 months before I could, like, yeah. So I don't know why it put me in
Yeah.
such the autoimmune response. But yeah, the doctors are just like, well, it'll eventually equal out. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a lot of stress that comes, physical stress that comes through having had the operation and then, the caloric changes and all of that. So there's lots of different things that can happen. Some of them we can't really explain why,
Yeah.
but definitely makes some changes. Was there any part of that where you felt like, ooh, I really wish I hadn't done this?
No.
Okay. You had the vision, you knew where you were headed, and
Yep.
you figured it was just a rough road to get through.
Yep. I just kept telling myself, it's okay. We're going to make it. I mean, I didn't have anything whatsoever to lose because I didn't really have a life before I had it because of everything I went through. But yeah, I've never regretted it. My son didn't want me to have the surgery. And then the family members are telling me, well, if you have it, you're going to regret it. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So, I mean, I thought about it for a very, very long time. I contemplated it over several years. And finally, I was just at the point that I'm just like, this is either going to work for me or I was going to die at an early age.
You bring up some excellent points there. One, most people do spend quite a while considering this. It's a big change.
Mhm.
And then two, um, the health problems that can come with obesity can be life threatening, and you can get to that point where you can just see your life deteriorating, and that's one of the beautiful things about this is just really kind of switching that around.
Yeah. And I have you to thank. Well, thank you.
My part's the easy part. You have the hard work. So
It's hard, but it's okay.
now that you're a couple of years into this, what help it shares with us some of kind of maybe your daily habits, things that you do to help you stay on track.
Okay. Well, I try to walk 5 miles a day.
That's
Sometimes
great.
I can do more, but that's my goal for every day. I prepare my food, so I'm like have little like lunch containers, and I just portion my food out and do my protein. You have to make sure that you get like at least 70 grams of protein a day. I shoot for 100, but that's just me. I just I'd
Hmm.
rather fill up on protein, and then the veggies are like 30. Sometimes I get 30 to 50. I try very hard to stay away from like the sugars, the fats, and just that kind of stuff. I mean, I bought all the stuff that you need to before, um, like this the silverware and measuring cups and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think.
That's a good point. There is actually some data showing that the size of plate we use makes a difference on how our brain reacts to when we're full. Having the smaller utensils does help with, when you have such a small portion, taking longer to eat it. We do
Yep,
encourage that. We want you to take 20 to 30 minutes to eat your meal because that's the time that it takes for the gut to signal the brain that, hey, I'm full. And so all those little aids can help with that.
and not drink water 30 minutes before or after.
Yeah. And the main thing there is trying to let that food sit in the pouch and give those signals to the brain rather than flushing it out and feeling hungry a lot sooner.
Exactly.
Great. Um, you had mentioned several non-scale victories. Um, just share with us how your life is different now than it was a few years ago.
Okay. Um, well, like I said, being in a wheelchair, that it's miserable trying to shop in a wheelchair. It's awful. And my daughter would get so frustrated when she'd go with me, and people are not very nice. And it's like they don't want to really move out of your way. And then you can't reach things on a shelf, right? I mean, you're stuck in there. They're high, you can't reach it. Um, that was difficult. Um, just oh my goodness, being on oxygen all the time. I didn't. I couldn't do any. I can't go anywhere really. Couldn't do anything. Um, so much now. I got so much energy. I feel so much better. And life is a lot better. Lots better.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Um, what if somebody were talking to you and wanting your advice on whether they should consider surgery or not, what kind of advice would you give them, both on whether to do it or not, and then maybe on things to help them through the process?
Right. Oh my goodness. Well, I'd be nice to yourself. Love yourself. Choose yourself. I have to say that because if you don't choose yourself and you love and accept yourself, it's much harder. And um, allow yourself to make mistakes. When you do, learn from it and don't ever, ever, ever give up. Therapy has helped me. So when I have triggers, because I have an eating disorder, that leads to that's all this other stuff. But yeah, talk to a therapist about it. You need to really prepare and think about like because I mean, you can't go back. You can't eat everything you ate before, right? And the portions are smaller. And sometimes when I look at my portions, I'm like, I miss eating big meals with my family, and it's like, and I can't do that, and it's like it's frustrating sometimes. And my favorite food, like I love chocolate, I love dark chocolate, and it's like, okay, well, I have a new relationship with food now, and I have a better relationship with food. It doesn't control me, I control it. But yes,
Great
it's hard.
comments.
Yeah, just gotta like set goals and write it down, write it out, and work with your doctors. They'll help you.
That's great. Um, Share with us a little bit how you knew or discovered you had an eating disorder, and maybe some of the things that therapy has helped you in dealing with that.
Okay. Um, well, my dad died when I was like 12. So that kind of like helped with the like food addiction, because it was like life was just lonely because my mom had to go to work, and I'm just like I'm the youngest, and it was hard. And then my mom remarried, and my stepdad he passed away within 3 years of my mom marrying him.
Oh,
Oh, I felt
wow.
so bad for my mother. I love her so much. And so it was hard, and I loved him. He helped me so much. He was like an hour away from his psychology degree, and he really helped me because high school was just it's brutal. High school is very brutal, and
So true.
I wasn't that big in high school, but yet I mean they tease you and make fun of you and make life miserable. And I had several classmates that were just awful, and so I've just things I've been through in my life. I was raped, and then my husband had an addiction. And so all those things just kind of like combined with everything. My mom died of melanoma cancer. That was hard for me. And then like losing four of my babies. Um, that was just hard. And so just everything just kind of like compounded on each other. And so it led to the eating disorder. And I've been to several different therapists, and you just got to find the right one that you mesh with. If you
Excellent
find the
point.
right one, right?
Yes.
And if you mesh with them good, then sometimes you just have to keep going until you find the right one. And when you do, then you can like go through life and you can work out, dig through the mud together, and work it all out to where you can, start repairing yourself. And I've been doing it steadily for at least the last 4 years. I go to therapy once a week, sometimes twice a week if I'm having a bad week. And she helps me and I talk through it. And now I can like stop myself when triggers happen and moments come. And where normally before I would go to the store and buy like a box of eclairs. I love chocolate eclairs. And so it was just like I would go and I would feed myself, feed my sadness, my emptiness, my loneliness. And now I can stop myself from doing that when those things happen. And I'm an advocate for mental health, and I think everybody deserves to be mentally free from things that bother them.
Wow, you shared some pretty traumatic experiences in your life, and I can see where that led to food addiction, and congratulations on all that work that you've done to be at the place you're at. That is a lot of hard work to work through all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good advice for other people. If you have those things in your life that are just um, create those triggers or weigh you down, then seeking professional help is a large advantage. Absolutely. Any other advice you'd like to give?
Well, my goal, I still haven't reached my complete goal yet because I really want to be like 120, 125 pounds. So I'm going to have eventually skin removal surgery. I'm waiting for right now. Um, and I'm excited. And I want to buy me a pair of leather pants and a leather jacket. That's just always been my dream. So I'm still fighting for my dream. And I just, you know what? Don't ever give up. you know what? If I don't make it to 125, I can still buy me a pair of leather pants, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, once the skin, that's another thing that I struggle with is like the extra skin from losing so much weight. And it's like some people have had it and they've like been able to, their skin like it comes back to where they, they're beautiful or whatever. And they don't have like, all the other stuff. But I'm just one of those lucky individuals that didn't happen for me, but it's okay. I'm waiting for skin removal surgery. And when I get it, it's going to be great because I've never had a flat tummy and I'm actually looking really forward to not having a belly. And then I hate my little like release the slidey arms. So that's my next one. But I mean, just set yourself up and think about it. I mean, deep thinking about what you really want and how you can achieve that goal. And, don't let anything or anyone stop you. I mean, the naysayers, the doubters, the haters, it's just, don't let them get to you. Just, you know what? Rise above it.
Oh, that's
Be
great
careful.
advice. Uh, Definitely. And there are, I mean, people who just don't understand or have biases or whatever. So unfortunately, there is a lot of that out there.
There is. I mean, if I could help anybody going through it, any patient that wants to do it, wants to talk to me about it, whatever, they can contact me. I don't care. I'm here to help and I want to help. I haven't told any of my family and friends that I had the surgery because I just didn't want to be judged that, oh, you took the easy way out. And it's like, there's nothing about it that's easy. Nothing. It was
Yeah,
hard.
that's a very important point. That is comes a lot from those who don't understand the process or the disease, saying, "Oh, that's the easy way out," and you're right. There is nothing easy about it.
There is nothing about it. And I mean, all my siblings, bless their soul, except for one, we are all like heavy set. We just have the body type that, we're just heavy people. And it's like, yeah. And so I don't know.
That's
Just
a strong genetic component. Yes, I
yeah,
definitely see that a lot. I wanted to back up for a second to something you were talking about of, you have a goal, you're working towards that goal, not quite there yet. And you made the comment, you said, even if I don't ever get there, I can, still buy the leather pants and the leather coat. And I think that's such a healthy, beautiful way of looking at it. Um, for all that we think we can control what our weight does, and there are some aspects of it we just can't. And even if you never lost another pound, you've lost 200 pounds, and
yeah.
that's such a huge accomplishment. And you've shared with us so many significant benefits in your life. Congratulations. And maybe that's the best way to say it, is just
I appreciate
congratulations. And that's great that you have a goal and are still working towards that. But congratulations on what you've accomplished.
it's fun because when I go to the doctors now, all my doctors are just like, is that really you? And I'm like, yeah, it's me. And they're just like, oh my goodness. And then the one doctor for my back, he's just like, Shirley, do you realize you have lost like two middle aged kids? Like the heavy salt bags are 70 pounds. He's like, you've lost two of those people, like two of those bags that are heavy. And I'm just like, okay, I didn't really think about it like that, but I was like, wow, well, thank you. And it's just fun. I love it. And I just can't thank you enough. It's amazing. And I love that I've got my life to where I can enjoy it. And eventually I'll be a grandma, I'll be able to play on the floor with my grandkids and run around and play with them. And I'm looking forward to it. Where before I wouldn't have ever had that.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, any last thoughts you want to leave us with?
Be brave and do it. You won't regret it. I've never regretted a moment of it at all.
Thanks again to Shirley Watkins. What an amazing story. What great accomplishments. I really loved her discussion about the trauma she's been through and the hard work that she's gone through to overcome that, and how she's seen those benefits in her life. Please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. It will help us reach more people with these amazing stories. I also have a YouTube channel where you can see this video, as well as several other videos about surgical weight loss, general surgery, and robotic surgery. Join us next time for another amazing story.